Lamine Yamal, and Lamine Yamal into the roof of the net. He scored his first goal in a classic.
The 16-year-old Lamine Yamal is absolutely astonishing.
Lamine Yamal, he keeps his balance, he keeps his head, and he equalises for Barcelona. It is Echeverri. That's more like it. Echeverri nicely pulled back.
From Claudio Echeverri, it takes a deflection, and Argentina are in front through the captain. The first goal of the match. Claudio Echeverri with the hat-trick.
What if the next Messi and Maradona aren't coming, they're already here? Two teenage sensations are rewriting history before they're even old enough to vote. But are they rising stars or shooting stars? The world is watching. Can Lamine Yamal and Claudio Echeverri handle the pressure? In today's game, becoming a star takes more than just talent. It takes nerves of steel, relentless sacrifice, and brilliance under global pressure. Lamine Yamal and Claudio Echeverri aren't just rising through the ranks, they're crashing into football's spotlight with fearless ambition. Their stories are just beginning and already unforgettable. Lamine Yamal was born on July 13, 2007 in Esplugues de Llobregat, a small town near Barcelona. His roots trace back to a multicultural blend. His father is Moroccan and his mother is Equatorial. From the very beginning, it was clear Lamine wasn't like the other kids kicking balls around the streets of Mataro and Granollers. There was a spark in how he moved, how he read the game, how he made the ball obey him. At just 7 years old, his life changed forever. He was accepted into La Masia, the famed FC Barcelona academy known for producing legends like Xavi, Iniesta, and of course, Lionel Messi. La Masia is more than a football school, it's a crucible where raw talent is forged into greatness. But even there, among hundreds of gifted players, Yamal stood out. Coaches whispered about his intelligence, his calm under pressure, and his astonishing dribbling. By 15, he had already made history, becoming the youngest player in over a century to debut for Barcelona's senior team. Imagine stepping onto the same pitch where Messi once dazzled, knowing millions of eyes were watching your every move. Most kids would crumble under that weight, but Yamal, he embraced it. He didn't just play, he made things happen. He assisted goals, controlled tempo, and left defenders bewildered with his sharp turns and fearless attacks. In the 2023-24 season, Lamine played a key role in Barcelona's domestic treble. His precision, balance, and creativity earned him individual accolades too. He won the Copa Trophy and the Golden Boy Award, two of the most prestigious honors for players under 21. But it didn't stop at club level. At just 16, Yamal made his debut for the Spanish national team. In that very match, he not only became Spain's youngest ever player, but also its youngest ever goal scorer. It wasn't just a tap-in, it was a stunning display of composure and skill that left even seasoned pros in awe. Then came UEFA Euro 2024. All eyes were on the young prodigy, and once again, he delivered. His goal in the semi-final against France became one of the tournament's defining moments, a curling left-footed strike from outside the box that seemed to float past defenders and bend reality. Commentators were speechless, fans exploded with emotion, and analysts began to ask, are we witnessing the next era of greatness? But what truly defines Yamal isn't just his statistics, it's his poise, his maturity, and his deep love for the game. He carries the pressure of being Barcelona's future, and possibly Spain's, with a humility rare for someone his age. So the question now is, how far can he go? Because if history has taught us anything, it's that legends often begin just like this, with a kid, a ball, and the world watching. Claudio Echeverri was born on January 2, 2006 in Resistencia, Chaco, Argentina. From a young age, his passion for football was evident. He began his journey with local club Deportivo Luján before catching the eye of scouts from River Plate, one of Argentina's most prestigious clubs. At just 10 years old, Echeverri moved to Buenos Aires to join River Plate's youth academy. The transition was significant not just for him, but for his family, who relocated to support his burgeoning career. His talent was undeniable. He quickly became a standout player in River's youth teams, showcasing exceptional dribbling, vision, and creativity on the field. Echeverri's performances on the international stage further solidified his reputation. In the 2023 South American U17 Championship, he scored 5 goals and provided 3 assists, leading Argentina to a 3rd place finish and qualification for the FIFA U17 World Cup deck. At the World Cup, he delivered a memorable performance, netting a hat-trick in a 3-0 quarter-final victory over Brazil. His efforts earned him the bronze boot as the tournament's 3rd highest scorer. His style of play drew comparisons to Lionel Messi, not just for his Argentine heritage, but for his low center of gravity, agility, and flair. Standing at 1.71 meters, Echeverri's ability to navigate tight spaces and his penchant for taking on defenders earned him the moniker El Diablito, a nod to Bolivian footballer Marco Echeverri, known as El Diablo. In January 2024, Manchester City secured Echeverri's signature for an initial fee of €14,500,000, 0 cents, with potential add-ons increasing the deal's value. He remained on loan at River Plate until January 2025, gaining valuable first-team experience. During his time with River's senior team, he made 30 appearances, scoring 3 goals and providing 6 assists. Upon joining Manchester City, Echeverri quickly integrated into the squad. In May 2025, he made his debut in the FA Cup final against Crystal Palace, coming on as a substitute in the 76th minute. Despite the team's won or loss, his inclusion in such a high-stakes match underscored the club's confidence in his abilities. Echeverri's journey from the streets of Resistencia to the pitches of the Premier League is a testament to his dedication and skill. As he continues to develop under the guidance of Pep Guardiola and alongside some of the world's best players, the footballing world watches with anticipation. Will El Diablito become the next Argentine legend to grace the global stage? Only time will tell, but the foundations are undoubtedly in place for a stellar career. For most teenagers, pressure means school exams or choosing what sport to play. For Lamine Yamal and Claudio Echeverri, pressure means carrying the future of football before even becoming adults. Cameras follow their every move, headlines dissect their every match, and expectations weigh heavier than the trophies they dream of lifting. Lamine Yamal was just 15 when he stepped onto the pitch in a Barcelona jersey. The world applauded, but few noticed the isolation. Overnight, he went from being a La Masia student to Spain's most talked about teenager. Social media lit up with comparisons to Messi. But how does a boy barely old enough to drive handle that? Friends change, freedom disappears. Every mistake becomes public property. He's spoken about the challenges of adapting to sudden fame, how balancing school with training sessions and media duties pushed him to the edge. His family became his shield, protecting him from toxic attention while reminding him to stay grounded. But even with support, the emotional toll is real. One wrong step, Yamal reportedly told a teammate, and they'll tear you down. Claudio Echeverri's story isn't far off. After scoring a hat-trick against Brazil at the U17 World Cup, he was hailed as the next Maradona. Suddenly, he was flooded with media requests, endorsement offers, and fan attention back home. Everyone wanted a piece of El Diablito, but few asked how the pressure felt. He remained calm, almost detached, but those close to him noticed the change. Less laughter, more silence. The weight of expectations began to creep in. He wasn't just playing football anymore, he was protecting a reputation. At River Plate, coaches rotated him to avoid burnout. Manchester City ensured a careful transition, shielding him from immediate pressure by letting him finish the season in Argentina. Pep Guardiola reportedly told his team, "Talent needs protection, let him breathe." The hidden cost of early fame is rarely spoken about. Loneliness, anxiety, and the fear of failure become part of daily life. One poor performance sparks criticism, one injury, and the world moves on. But both Yamal and Echeverri seem to carry something special, not just skill, but focus, maturity, and the desire to prove they're more than hype. Still, the question lingers, can they survive the spotlight, or will the weight of early fame burn them out before they even peak? The answers are still unwritten, but the world is watching every step. Every football star has a moment that defines them. Not a trophy, not a transfer, but that single game, that flash of brilliance when everything changes. For Lamine Yamal and Claudio Echeverri, those moments arrived when most kids are still figuring out who they are. For Lamine Yamal, it happened on September 8th, 2023. Spain was playing Georgia in a UEFA Euro 2024 qualifier. When Yamal stepped onto the pitch in the 74th minute, he instantly became the youngest player in Spanish national team history. But he didn't just play, he shocked the world. Moments after entering, he slotted in a goal with ice-cold composure. The crowd erupted. Commentators struggled to find words. He had just become Spain's youngest ever goal scorer at 16 years and 57 days. That wasn't just a goal, it was an awakening. In that moment, Yamal went from Barcelona's golden boy to Spain's newest weapon. Coaches began rethinking lineups, fans began dreaming, and the world began watching. Claudio Echeverri had his own unforgettable night during the U17 World Cup quarterfinals. The opponent, Brazil. The pressure, immense. And, in true Argentine style, El Diablito rose to the occasion. He didn't just play well, he dismantled Brazil with a hat-trick. 3 goals that left defenders in a trance and scouts scrambling to update their reports. Each finish showed different strengths, vision, timing, ruthlessness. The world began drawing parallels to Messi, but this wasn't imitation. This was Echeverri forging his own legacy. Those nights weren't just breakout performances, they were emotional turning points. Both players had shouldered pressure for years, but that was the moment they delivered. The headlines changed, the expectations tripled, and yet they didn't flinch. For Yamal and Echeverri, those 90 minutes redefined their futures. But the question still hangs in the air. Will those moments be their launch pads or the beginning of an impossible standard? Behind every rising star is a battle, not just of the body, but of the mind. Talent can take you to the top, but it's the mental game that keeps you there. For Lamine Yamal and Claudio Echeverri, navigating fame, pressure, and identity at such a young age has become a daily mental workout. At Barcelona, Yamal may wear the badge of a superstar in the making, but inside the locker room, he's still a teenager. That's where mentorship comes in. Head coach Xavi, once a young La Masia prodigy himself, has reportedly taken Yamal under his wing. He reminds the youngster to play simple, stay humble, and always remember the joy that started it all. Teammates like Lewandowski offer support on and off the field, treating him not as competition, but as potential, yet Yamal knows the whispers are always there. Is he the next Messi? Can he handle it? These comparisons fuel him, but they also haunt him. Echeverri, on the other hand, is walking into Pep Guardiola's empire at Manchester City, an environment known as much for tactical brilliance as for psychological intensity. Pep doesn't just coach footballers, he molds thinkers. For Claudio, this is both a blessing and a test. The manager has already set up a tailored transition plan. No rush, no spotlight too soon. Instead, there's mentorship, talks with South American veterans, mindset training, and slow integration into City's rhythm. Pep has reportedly said he needs to feel the game, not force it. But it's not all coaching and guidance. There are darker forces too. Media headlines, social media abuse, critics dissecting every touch, every pass. Don't read the comments is easier said than done. For both prodigies, the mind is becoming just as important as the foot, because football, at this level, isn't just a game, it's a psychological war. The stakes, not just titles or goals, but the ability to stay grounded when the entire world is watching and expecting. Football is full of gifted youngsters, but very few leave you speechless. Lamine Yamal and Claudio Echeverri aren't just promising, they're terrifyingly good. Their playing styles so different yet equally deadly have fans and coaches whispering the same question: are we witnessing football's next era? Lamine Yamal plays like a dream you can't quite believe is real. A left-footed winner, he drifts inside with the grace of a dancer and the danger of a predator. His low center of gravity allows him to twist, turn, and glide past defenders with ease. His composure in tight spaces feels beyond his age. At just 16, he's already mastered the one thing most winners never figure out: timing. What sets him apart isn't just speed or footwork, it's his mind. He sees passes others don't. He cuts inside, not for style, but with purpose. And when he delivers a final ball, it's surgical. One La Liga analyst described him as calm chaos, because while everything around him moves fast, he plays like he has time to spare. Then there's Claudio Echeverri, Argentina's midfield magician. He doesn't need height or power. He has intelligence, agility, and that Messi-like instinct to vanish into spaces no one else sees. As a classic number 10, he dictates the pace, draws defenders in, and releases at the perfect moment. He plays with rhythm, one that only a few special players ever learn to feel. What makes Echeverri so dangerous is his unpredictability. Just when defenders think he's going to pass, he shoots. When they press high, he drops deep. When they expect a simple move, he dances past three. His close control and acceleration in short bursts allow him to break defensive lines like a knife through silk. Together, these two are redefining what potential looks like. They're not just raw talents, they're polished performers with a terrifying ceiling, and both are in systems: Barcelona's control and City's chaos that could turn them into superstars. So now the world wonders, if this is how they play as teenagers, what will they become at their peak? For every young footballer, there's a moment when the dream transforms into destiny. Lamine Yamal and Claudio Echeverri are rapidly approaching that point. Their names are no longer whispered in academies, they're shouted across continents. And now, the world stage isn't just calling, it's roaring. Lamine Yamal's breakout with Spain wasn't a one-off miracle. It was a sign of things to come. With Euro 2024 behind him and a World Cup on the horizon, the pressure has multiplied. Spain's next golden generation may very well be built around him. The weight of a nation is never light, but Yamal wears it like it was made for him. Sponsors are already lining up, his face appears in ads, his highlights dominate social media, but with that fame comes an unforgiving spotlight. Every missed chance, every mistake is magnified. There's no margin for error now. At 17, most are learning to drive. Yamal is navigating world-class defenders on global television. Claudio Echeverri's story is slightly different, but just as captivating. With Manchester City pulling the strings and Argentina eyeing him for senior duties, he's living between two footballing giants. At River Plate, he was a prodigy. At City, he's a project. And in Argentina, he's a promise, a possible successor to the Messi legacy. The world saw glimpses of that magic in the U17 World Cup. But now comes the leap from youth hero to full-blown international. His performances will no longer be seen as impressive for his age. They'll be judged against the best, with no excuses. The challenge isn't just physical, it's emotional. How do you keep joy in the game when millions expect greatness? How do you stay grounded when you're called the future of your country? Both Yamal and Echeverri stand at the edge of something enormous. The next tournament, the next season, the next decision. They all matter more now. Their potential is no longer a question. Their future is now a global obsession. And as the world holds its breath, one question echoes louder than all. Will these boys become the legends they were born to be? In football, talent comes and goes, but legacy, that's eternal. It isn't just about scoring goals or lifting trophies. It's about influence, impact, leaving something behind that can't be measured in statistics. And for Lamine Yamal and Claudio Echeverri, that conversation has already begun before their careers have even truly started. Lamine Yamal represents more than just Barcelona's future. He's becoming a symbol for young athletes navigating pressure, identity, and responsibility far beyond their years. He carries Spain's hopes on his shoulders, yet continues to play with a sense of freedom that feels both rare and refreshing. The comparisons to Messi may be premature, but the feeling he gives fans, that electric buzz when he touches the ball, it's the same. Meanwhile, Claudio Echeverri walks in the shadow of greatness. Argentina doesn't just produce players, they produce legends, and the weight of that legacy is both a gift and a burden. But Echeverri isn't imitating Messi or Maradona, he's studying them, learning, then carving his own path with quiet confidence. He's not here to copy a legacy, he's here to build one. But legacy isn't formed in one game or one season, it's forged over time. Through adversity, growth, and consistency. It's how you recover from injuries, how you handle setbacks, how you treat teammates when no one's watching. It's about who you are when the lights are off. Yamal and Echeverri have all the tools, but what will define them isn't what they've already done, it's what they choose to do next. Because in the end, football's greatest legends aren't remembered just for how they played, but for how they made people feel. Lamine Yamal and Claudio Echeverri are more than rising stars, they're the future heartbeat of football. Their journeys, filled with pressure, promise, and poise, have already inspired millions. But the true test of greatness isn't found in early headlines, it's measured in longevity, leadership, and legacy. With every touch, every goal, they're building something bigger than records, they're building meaning. If they stay grounded and hungry, their names could echo alongside the all-time greats. The spotlight is theirs now, but it's how they use it that will define everything. If you believe we're witnessing the birth of football's next legends, hit that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments, Team Yamal or Team Echeverri, and don't forget to subscribe. Follow us for more epic stories as we track the rise of football's most exciting new generation.